Alright, back with my Beezer project. So I go to the shop. They tell me they want to see it fire up when I'm all finished with it. So Monday through Friday they're open till 6, but on Saturday they're open till 5. Stupid me, I show up there at 6 on Saturday, no one's there. So load the bike up for nothing, come back home. And they're closed on a Sunday and Monday. And then Tuesday, go over there. And there's a couple little things here and there that I figured wouldn't take too long. Didn't know whether to show up at 6 o'clock when it's closing or during business hours, because if I'm there during business hours, then I'm taken away from work they're supposed to be doing, which is money. But then if I show up at 6, then they want to go home, kind of thing. So I'm like, well, I'm about money, so I'd rather, if I was running the shop, show up when the shop's closing, whatever, this and that. So I show up there, and we're about half an hour into it, and we find a few problems and this and that, so we don't fire it up. Okay, first thing is the head down here. You have this oil junction that right here. If you can see, it comes off the head. I just put a piece of 5/16 hose and a bolt, keep any dust and stuff from going up in there. But that's got to go down to this oil bag fitting. The one with the vent, the T, right here, goes on the bottom. This is a different bag. This is not a stock bag by any means. So this fitting is a 5/16, but the junction up here is like 3/16, so it's smaller. So I have to fab up something. That 5/16 hose right there is on the threads that this screws into, but the hose is supposed to go in here. So I got this piece, which I'm going to slide over that, and it's perfect. The outside diameter fits in the inside diameter of the 5/16. Well, anyway, so the piece that was on it when I got the bike was this piece, which is basically compression sleeves, some it's like plumbing material. But when you tighten it down, bring this up here, you tighten it down, it compresses it and it opens up. Well, Bob seen that over at Ravers and said no. So he wanted me to run this, which is the stock piece. This was like $20, $25 for a used piece. So anyway, so I get it home, and the nut here, you put it on, you can see that you get it on. Okay, so it bottoms out, right? But it's supposed to spin on that junction where that 5/16 hose is on. There's threads. It's a male. It's supposed to go in here. So this needs to be longer. I went to the Orchard, whatever, the plumbing department, trying to find a fitting that's longer. They don't have one, so they're like, yeah, just do this. So anyway, so unless Bob has that, we're gonna end up running like this again. So that's the only thing left, basically. Hook up that oil line, from the line that goes from the top head down to the bag. You got the return and feed lines already hooked up. The other thing was this cable. This is the old throttle cable that was on there. The thing's pretty tossed back, and it was nasty. I got some PJ1 cable lube, but you can, this thing. Well, needless to say, when I was snapping the throttle, it wasn't snapping back. It was just, you turn the throttle and it would just stay in its place. This engine, everything internal is brand new. I'm not going to fire up a bike that's brand new with a sticky throttle. So what? I kickstart it, fires up for the first time, and the throttle's stuck wide open, and then it's I burn up my engine. Or worst case scenario is I'm at the intersection and I'm just about to let out in first, and I'm just taking off going through an intersection, and the bike just takes off like Pee Wee Herman through road sign or into cars, you know, and I die. So I bought a new cable, hooked that up, and that one over there was pretty long. So this one is like the right length. It was only, well, it was a couple inches longer than it was should have probably been. But I hooked that up. You know, the slides, take them apart. You want to put some WD-40 on the slides because you don't want to run dry carbs either. You know, everything, this bike, everything has to be lubed for its fire up. So this is the throttle, this is the action. See that? You hear it? That's popping back no matter even the littlest little turn it. Full throttle, you know, that's all day. So, you know, I lubed up all the fittings, blah blah blah. I had the top piece, this piece on the other one. It was all broken off in here, so I had to drive it out to reuse this piece. So this throttle's already good to go. I bought a new clutch cable too, so I was missing, this spring wasn't here, and then there's a spacer that goes inside this boot down here, and the spacer is shaped like the boot, but it doesn't go in the same direction as the boot. You can see the shape of that. Now imagine a spacer shaped exactly like that, how the end of it gets smaller, but it's actually, the spacer ends, it actually ends like right there, and then it looks like this over here, and it goes in through the hole and it sticks out down in there. So, you know, if you didn't know what you're doing or whatever, you'd naturally assume, oh, because it looks like, you know, it fits over it perfect, but that's not how it goes. So you gotta have it like that, right? So, clutch cable, I gotta adjust this clutch too, so I can get some action going on my clutch. You know, I'm pulling clutch cable, and I got, you know, you got some action, see, but it still needs to be adjusted tomorrow. But I'm just trying to fire it up, so you know, so I can fire it up in neutral. I don't need necessarily to ride it tomorrow. My lights aren't hooked up, so I'm not even really legal. I got a brake just in case I want to put it around real quick. So I got this off so I can adjust my clutch real quick before we fire it up. I'll probably ride it around the block or something. I gotta tighten down, you know, the exhaust right there at the fronts. But I left those loose because I might have to take this front pipe off in order to get the cover. Both front pipes, front half of the pipes, to get these covers back on. That's the timing cover. That's about it. You know, should be good to go. I'm sure they probably have the piece, the piece that's the longer piece at the shop, and if not, we'll use that. Got some clamps for the hose. Hook that up. Fill some oil in there. Throw some oil, primary oil, whatnot. You know, engine oil. This is the stuff you're using. You fire it. Well, I'm gonna use anyway. So, got this for the primary. Train fluid. 150. There's some gearbox. You know, so you got those three that you gotta buy. 80, 90, 20, 50, whatever. They might say go like 60 weight, but whatever, because it gets a break in. You got to break in a new motor. And what else? Little things. I don't know if I mentioned the rocker shafts. The book, there's oil holes. It doesn't mention where you're supposed to line up the oil holes and how the oil comes out the pressure in the rocker boxes. There's holes on rocker shafts, and there's a hole on the shoulder where the oil comes in and it pushes up against the rockers. Well, you would think, oh, you got to line up the hole on the rocker shaft and the hole that it goes in with, you know, the shoulder with the oil hole. Well, that's not it. There's slots on the bottom of the rockers. They have to be 6 o'clock because that's where all the pressure builds up, the oil pressure. So that's how you line those up. It doesn't mention that in any of the books. So, you know, anyway, so, and also when you route the cables, you want to make sure nothing binds up, because you could, when you go to turn your fork, if it opens up the throttle, you know, then you're going to be screwed. You're going to take off again, same thing. So, and this hose down here, there's a junction hose down there. This one has to be, it can't be like this stuff they use for gas because it's too close to the head. This might even be too close. I might have to do something with this because